Welcome to this is Tuesday, July 21st, and this is What's Wrong with Richard Rushfield. Very, very special, exciting edition today. We're talking about a great film and a great topic that come up, and we have two extremely distinguished guests joining us. The topic is, as you can see in the poster behind our one guest, the documentary Cookie Queens, which is, I'll read the official description. It's Girl Scout cookie season, and four tenacious girls strive to be a top-selling cookie queen, navigating an $800 million business in which innocence and ambition collide, which is a great description of it. And we have, first of all, the director of this great film here with us, Alysa Nahmias. Did I say that right?
Yeah, hi. So good.
Got it wrong in the practice. Who is an American filmmaker and the founder of Anja Films. In 2021, she directed the film Art and Crimes by Crimes, which centers on visual artist Jesse Crimes as he navigates his life and artistic career following incarceration. She's done a lot of films on a lot of very highfalutin topics, and this time going to the more accessible but equally sort of complex and important topic of the Girl Scout cookie sales. And most importantly, our most distinguished guest, to my right, we have one of the subjects of this film, and is it spoiling the film to give away?
It might be, but she's
okay. Let's just say a distinguished cookie seller. I won't say how distinguished. You see the film to find that out. But extremely distinguished. Is it from coming to us from Chino, about 60 miles away? Please welcome Nikki. Age? Are you 10 now, or?
I'm 11.
11 now. What grade does that put you in? Sixth grade.
6th grade. Yep.
Great, fantastic. So let's start with Alysa here. So how did you get into this topic? How did the topic of Girl Scout cookies take over your life here?
Yes, you know how it is to make a documentary. It does take over your life and make friends for life. So it's funny you mentioned my last film, Art and Crimes by Crimes, and I had also produced a film called Wildcat that was with Amazon. My kids at the time were ages 9 and 11, and I showed them the films, and they, I was like, what did you think? They're like, oh, we liked it, Mom. Pretty good. But next time, do you think you could make one that we actually want to share with our friends? And I thought, okay, that's a good kind of double dare for me, both as an artist and as a parent, to think about. And I find a topic that I want to chew on, so to speak, that's really going to have deeper themes and also be accessible to all ages audiences. And so that's how we get to Cookie Queens. The Girl Scout cookie sale is this space where I think girls are learning about their place in the economy, their capacities, how it works. And also having these like really amazing, entertaining conversations with customers, and all the while looking at like the inner journeys that they would have through anytime we have something that we're super passionate about, and these big goals, we're going to have a journey to get there. And so that was my interest, was like this way of a kind of looking at girlhood and capitalism through the lens of the cookie program.
Yeah, it's a fascinating look. Everybody needs to see it. But how did you find your four girls, including Nikki? What sort of search and how did you go about that?
Well, Nikki, you remember the first time we met was not unlike this, where we were. We did a Zoom. So we did a very grassroots. It's an indie film, completely independently financed and produced. And we did a grassroots casting search. So posting in parent groups, moms groups, Facebook. Girl Scout troop leaders are very organized. So when we put people, there was an
terrifyingly organized. I would say, from what I saw there.
And so uh, we got a ton of response, and my casting producer Whitney interviewed hundreds, and I ended up interviewing dozens, and then I ended up visiting all the families. So just spending a few days together, getting to know each other, and talking about the commitment that it takes to make a documentary, and making sure they understood, and really wanted to do it. And I did that with about 10 families, and we ended up filming with 7 for the 4 that are in the film. And Nikki and her sisters, who are her older sisters, who are also Girl Scouts, that for me was a story where, again, I was looking for beyond the cookies, not just their goals, but for Nikki's story, it was about looking up to her sisters and navigating this, this sort of way that we want to be like, sometimes people who we want to emulate, but also we want to find our own path. And I thought that was a very universal story, as are the other ones in the film, that could resonate much more beyond the cookies.
Yeah, that was fascinating because you're Nikki, your sisters are, I think when they were depicted there, they were in their last year of Girl Scout. How old eligibility? How old are they now?
My sister Naya, she's 18, and my
Right.
sister Nala is 16.
And
Mhm.
they had been very prominent sellers, cookie sellers themselves.
Mhm.
So what was it like for you? What was it like when you were young? Was that something you always said you wanted to follow in their footsteps, and you couldn't wait until you did it, or was it intimidating to have these two uh, cookie champions in your house there?
Well, ever since my sisters, when my mom talks about my sisters being like the top cookie sellers, I was like, I want to be like them. Like, I want to be the third cookie seller and Chino, like top seller. And I really want to follow in their footsteps and, just be with them.
The and when Alyssa showed up and said we want to make a movie about you and this, how do you feel about that? Was it scary, or were you uh, immediately up for that?
Uh, I was immediately up for that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, let's do this. I'm ready."
What did you think about the life of a cookie seller? What was it you wanted to share about what you go through in a season here? Because it's cookie season is 6 weeks.
Hmm.
And in that period, nationally, it's what, 800 million, 900 million?
Yeah, the
Eight,
girls.
8 million.
Go ahead, Nikki. You say.
Oh, sorry. It's 800 million.
$800 million of cookies are sold box by box by these young women, outside stores to friends at the office. The one thing that they show here is how creative they get in finding places to sell them, but it is like a national movement. And when Alyssa came to talk to you all, what did you think? What was it you wanted to share about what you go through, and what it is such a family your family really all gets together. Your mother has a whiteboard up there with your goals and everything. Um, what tell me what you wanted to share with the world about that experience.
I want people to know that being together makes a very huge difference rather than being alone. And friends and family, and just, being together as one.
That so you really saw this as a chance to bond with your sisters, with your parents
Hmm.
there. I mean, that's a great story, because I feel like for some of the other girls, you depict this, that as much as it brings them together, it can become a source of tension between the kids and the parents there.
Yeah, it
All that.
can. That's something that, and Nikki's family experiences this too. Like when I see myself in all the kids in the film and in all the
Yeah.
parents, really.
Mhm.
Um, they have different kind of flavors of their parenting styles, of the kind of love, but these are all loving families, and they're doing their best. And it's not easy when you have big goals, and when you're as a parent, when my kids are ambitious about something, there is that push pull. of wanting to help them reach their goal and rise to a challenge, and then also not wanting to push so hard where it becomes like it's not them who's motivated. And one of the things I loved about Nikki and her family is that they do work together. They sell their they do their booths together, and they share the proceeds, which makes it more challenging. Like families where you have an only child, that only child is getting all the sales. But families with 3 children, like 3 Girl Scouts, they're dividing those sales from that booth if the parents are there with them. So I thought that was like an interesting way to show just different choices more broadly that people make around how we structure our lives, how we prioritize. Like Nikki said, is it being together or is it just cutthroat sales?
Wait, and your family, Nikki, do you have a whole your mother outlined the whole routine that you were the cute one that gets people in, and then you pass them off to the next sister, and then the oldest sister closes the sale initially, and they have at the movie opens with an amazing moment of Olive, I believe it is, from North Carolina, explaining the definition of upsell to a group of girls there.
Group of 5-year-olds. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, tell me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of the things that I remember talking about with Nikki's sisters and her parents. And Nikki, you were a little young at the time, but just sort of her sisters could see themselves as Girl Scouts as they got older into their teens. They have bigger goals. They want to sell more boxes, but it becomes more challenging because they're quote unquote less cute. And the world doesn't see them as innocent as all of these stereotypical things. And for me, that was something that I think not only can girls relate to it and teenagers, but also women. We live in a culture where bodies are sometimes objectified or commodified, and the idea that cuteness sells is nothing new. And I was interested in sort of how early girls are exposed to that idea, and what they do to navigate it. When, like, Nikki was 9 years old and people are saying this is part of your value, like that was something that you grappled with, right? Because I also see you as brilliant. You're a good salesperson. You know all the stuff. You knew all the math. You knew everything, and that's also valuable about you. And I think that shows in the film a little bit that tension. And you see some customers talking to the older girls in ways that are uncomfortable, and they're learning to navigate a world where girls and women will be put into positions and things will be said to us that are not comfortable, and we learn how to deal with that.
Nikki, how did you feel about that? It is your role. It's like the cuteness is what gets the customers in the door there. How does that feel to you? Do you have days where you don't feel like being cute, or what?
Well, sometimes when it's like really cold at the booths, we have to wear layers, and which makes me like really puffy, and I'm like, I don't look cute. So I don't know how we're gonna get sales today. But sometimes I do feel like that. But even without cuteness, or either without cuteness, you're still gonna make sales.
No.
Yeah.
When you heard, so the part that kind of takes your breath away watching this is when you first present what everybody's goals are, and you start off with that. If someone was doing it and they said, "Oh, I'm going to try to sell 60 boxes," I would say, "Well, that sounds tough. Are you sure you're ready for that?" And what was your goal, Nikki? How many boxes did you set out to sell?
I think my goal was 1,600. I believe that.
1,600 boxes of cookies in 6 weeks. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
So what did you think when you show scenes of trucks are unloading pallets of boxes and filling up entire rooms of this? So Alysa, were you alarmed when you?
No, it's astonishing. Like, when I heard like Nikki's family, they get a whole U-Haul trucks that are delivering cookie boxes, and their entire living room is taken up by cookie boxes. You're just like, what is going on? Like, it is, but it also, I think what I wanted to do with the film, and I think we do it partly through our other character, Ara, who is 5 years old, and she's a daisy. She's a new Girl Scout, and her goal is very different than the other girls. I cared about the goals. I wanted some girls who had goals that might be jaw dropping, but I also wanted, like Ara's goal ends up being 55 boxes. And for her, that's a big goal. She's 5 years old. Last year, she only sold 5 boxes. And I think
For me, that would be a big goal.
it's a big goal, exactly. And I think that the like, but the stakes are just as high for her. So from a storytelling standpoint, as a filmmaker and as a storyteller, to me that was really interesting to think about how can we tell a story where we feel the stakes of selling 55 boxes the same way we feel the stakes for Nikki selling 1,600, where we care enough about each person's goal and we understand that they're not, there's a subgenre of like competition documentaries where you see kids competing about something and then at the very end one of them gets the prize. And this film, I knew from the beginning, was going to be turning that subgenre, like playing with it a little bit, where we would use some of those familiar ways of storytelling, but also add to it and think about the question of, how much is enough and how can each girl be her own cookie queen, like with her own goal.
Yeah, the tension of that final week, where I think Nikki, you felt like you were behind on your goal and didn't know if you can make it. Ara was, and I think three of them were. It looked like they were all going to fall short there. Yeah, but that final week, it just seems like this like mad push to like sell cookies by. Tell me about that final week and what that's like for you.
For like the final week, you're thinking everyone's already cookied out, and you only have 1 week left, so you have to sell these cookies. Like you really can't give up. That's what you have to think that last week. And there are some challenges, but you just have to keep on pushing.
And you're going in the dark, in the rain. It's like
We have to sell even if it's cold or hot. We just have to keep going because we really want to accomplish our goal.
And what do you want to do with your goal? Like Nikki, maybe so people understand, like, what does it mean to reach 1,600 boxes? Why did you really want to sell 1,600 boxes, not just to sell them?
I have 2 reasons for that. I wanted to sell 1,600 to go to Europe, but I also wanted to try to being the top cookie seller at that point.
So, which we won't reveal whether you got it, but we can say you did go to Europe. I'll say that. So that was the deal, that if you hit this, the family took a trip to Europe there.
Well, it's through the cookie money that they get. So the girls, when they sell you a box of cookies, say for $6, the troupe gets more or less, depending where they are and how many they sell, more or less $1 per box that they can use that money as a troupe to do something special. Now, Nikki is what's called a Juliet. We don't have to get too in the weeds, but she's her own troupe, actually. So
I was wondering about that, where the rest of the troupe was. Yeah.
Yeah, so her sisters have a troupe of older girls that she's kind of affiliated with, but also she's a Juliet. So she got to use her money how she wanted, and her mother is her troupe leader. And you decided that if you sold 1,600, you wanted to go to Europe. So that's something that they get their money to do with a tour company.
And what an amazing thing for at your age to get this incredible trip that came because you guys had earned it with your own. How did that feel? How did that seems like such an incredible achievement. Did you love the trip, and did it feel extra special that this came because I earned it?
Nikki, could you hear?
Nikki,
did you love the trip?
Yeah, I kind of glitched out a little bit. Do you mind saying that again?
Oh yeah. So having this amazing trip, but that it came about because you had earned this trip yourself at this young age. Like, how did that feel, like taking that trip and knowing that it came about because of something you accomplished?
I felt really really good because I earned it. I worked hard, and not a lot of people get that opportunity. So I felt really accomplished, like I did something.
So, Alysa, I want to hear your thought. Like, ultimately, do you think that being this as a parent myself, whenever I see kids getting this intense about something, you just have a natural instinct. You want to kind of pull them back and just say, "Oh no,
Yeah.
it's okay. Don't worry. Let's just take it easy." But striving and perseverance are also how we build character and form character. So, what's your feeling about the effects
Yeah.
of this?
Well, I guess I was with this story, I was interested in asking that question, right? Like, again, how much is enough? Like, do you set a goal and you meet it, and then what? Do you keep going? Do you have to do more? Do you have to earn more and get more? And I think that's a very like sell American mentality. Strive, 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 more, more, more. And I do think that can become problematic, and kids are being exposed to that kind of thinking quite early. And on the other hand, it is the way that our culture and economy primarily operate. And so this is a look at girlhood and capitalism and the intersection of those things, and both the pressure points of it and also the joys, like you're saying, like when Nikki, and any Girl Scout achieves their goal, that can be a good feeling, and it can be something that they learn from. So I don't know that there's one right answer to that, but I feel like it is something that's worth talking about and worth families really talking to their kids about, because while I was making this film, my kids were doing piano lessons with a pretty intense teacher, and I would see that when they had a concert, they were really proud of it. And so when they didn't want to practice, I was like, hey, practice, encouraging them, okay, you can, if you want to stop piano, you can stop after you do the concert, get to that point where you have something that you achieved. And then if you don't want to do it again, you don't have to. And I'm not saying that's the right way to do something, but I think that, and eventually my daughter did say, you know what, I think I'm done. She did one concert and she was like, I don't think I want to keep taking lessons. So I think if we listen to kids, if we actually can connect with them and let them lead as much as possible, while also knowing that sometimes we do want to play that role of pushing and challenging them to be better. So like, I'm glad my kids challenged me to make this movie,
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I have to say, in terms of life skills, right or wrong, if you can become someone who can present yourself, sell something, sell a project, be outgoing and extroverted enough to make that pitch, and eloquent enough, and have the perseverance to see it through. I mean, that's kind of
Yes.
all you need in life. Like,
It's a very personal film, and I do see myself in the girls. And as a filmmaker, like you said, we're always pitching and selling and trying to get our projects off the ground. And so I think this is a film. It's about kids, and kids can totally watch it. We want families to watch it together, and also adults like you will see we will see ourselves as well.
I mean, I'll just say, Nikki, like if you, the skills that you have to achieve these cookie goals, there's not much. Those same skills will let you do whatever you want in the world after this. So it's like hold up, whatever you brought to that, hold on to that, and whatever lessons you learned, hold on to them. You had your family also, very importantly, you have a song. You had a Girl Scout cookie song that you all sang. I loved your song and found myself singing it, singing in the shower myself. So can you, would you do the song here, or?
Well, I think there's two songs. Is it "Come Buy Some Girl Scout Cookies? They're only $6"?
Yes, that was the one.
That one.
That
um, I think it goes like, I kind of forgot almost.
You want to do it together?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let
Let me
ready?
see. Oh, okay, I remember. Buy some Girl Scout cookies. They're only $6. They're only $6. Come buy some Girl Scout cookies. They're only $6. They're only $6. I'm pretty sure Nala can sing it better, like she did.
that's beautiful. I love. Have other people stolen your song and taken it for their booth? I can imagine that will catch on.
I think Ara was using our song, but she didn't take any credit, of course.
Well, and our piano piece, like the girls get very creative in the family selling. It was really, I was interested in filming them as performers too, right? There are like they are putting on a uniform, putting on a costume, like playing role, saying the same line multiple times. And so as a documentary filmmaker, I was really interested in how we could both be representing the very realness and the behind the scenes of the cookie sales. And most of the scenes in the film are not at a cookie booth, but also to be seeing how they turn it on, how they perform and are taught to perform femininity, and explore how that works. So I think we see that in the film, and visually I was interested in those moments where you see them kind of, like we just did, turn on to sell and sing a song, and also sometimes get home and be exhausted or whatever.
Couple of final questions. We're coming to the end of our time, but Nikki, did you join the group at Sundance when this premiered there? Were you there at the Sundance?
Yes.
So
yes, I was.
How was, I mean, that for independent filmmaking to have a Sundance premiere and to have one that was as well received, and that's kind of the pinnacle of the independent filmmaking world. Like, how was that experience for you, going through that and seeing yourself and your journey in a room with all these people up on the big screen? What do you think of that?
I felt really inspired when people were like watching the movie. I felt like all four of us, the girls, really made people happy, and that makes me happy knowing that people want to watch the movie, and that's something that just like really makes me smile. And when I heard about it, I was going crazy.
Were you surprised at how much your story affected people watching it, and how much you inspired people?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure all the girls were really like amazed.
And how do you like doing interviews like this one? How did you get?
Perfect.
You're doing really well. There's some great stars that can't do this half as well as you do. So
yeah, these girls are.
Thank you.
I think the more we give you all as young people power and agency, and we listen to you and follow your lead, like this film gives me hope. Making this film has given me hope, more hope, for the future and for the next generation, and for you just seeing what we have in common, and also how our diversity and our uniqueness, we can still honor that while also looking at what we have in common. These girls, like the fact that they didn't know each other at all, but they connected at Sundance, and
yeah, how was that? I was wondering about that meeting with Olive and Ara and Shannon Elizabeth there.
Well, when they were filming us, we haven't even like met or talked to any of the girls. So when we met at Sundance, it was a really huge a deal for us because we get to see their personality in like real life instead of just in the movie.
I like you say, it really is right, and it does give you hope for the future, because these four girls from very different backgrounds and places in the world, but I would trust you all to run the world so much better than the people running it currently, and I'm sure that you will be someday. The film is Cookie Queens, August 7th, I believe is the date. Coming to you.
Nationally, in theaters nationally, and our website is cookiequeensfilm.com. You can get tickets there. We have a merch store, and please help spread the word. I think everyone here listening to your incredible podcast knows how powerful it is for an independent film and a documentary to be successful at the box office, and just to sort of inspire people, and especially young people, to go to theaters. This is a cinematic film. We really want people to experience it communally in that environment.
Yeah, see it with your family. If you're on your own, see it on your own. It's delightful and inspiring and provocative and interesting, and most of all, it's your story, Nikki, and that is a great thing. So thank you so much for sharing it in the film, and thank you for sharing it with us today. This has been a fantastic talk, and I've really loved having you. And,
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it again on the big screen. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.